Okay. Shows we're live. We'll see if my internet holds out.
Ooh.
It's been iffy with all the rain. We've got stupid amount of rain. And then not that this has to do with the rain or the internet, but down the street I have some neighbors that are partying on Sunday. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but they're playing their Cajun music very loudly. And then there's
what
a
does
rooster
Cajun
somewhere.
music sound like?
It sounds, depending on who's watching. They don't like me anyways. It's like a very drunk Frenchman moaning.
Oh God.
Incoherently. Okay. It's very especially these guys down the way, because they're probably drunk warbling. But most of it is very much like that when it comes to traditional Cajun music. Hey, look at this. We got people. We got people that remembered we were alive. That's good. We've been away for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I've been toying with cars and going across the country. Visited Christina in New Mexico. She had to put up with me for multiple days. She didn't kill me. Which is good.
You made it. Bless you. Bless you, Christina.
She was an excellent host.
Nice.
And we had some good fun out there. Pause the T-Rex arms micro video to jump on here. Well, hey, there you go. I guess he's now building holsters for the micro. I mean, it's Bodkin, so I mean, that's a weird dude. I remember when I first got into doing all this stuff and watching his videos, he looked really professional until you really think about what he does, just running around. They're entertaining videos. I'll give him that. They're entertaining. Yeah, I know. But what do we got going? Well, okay. I know you've been busy behind the scenes doing some stuff.
Oh yeah.
I finally, after years of doing this, have a trigger shoe. Now, I have worked with different companies over the years, both good and bad. I've worked on different designs for triggers. I've helped with a lot of different triggers over the years, and until recently, I've not had my own trigger shoe, but I do now. And you've probably seen this online already. If you haven't been to the website, here is a picture. Now, the thing about it is a variation, and this is the OD green. My lighting is terrible for it. I must apologize, but my pictures I took weren't much better. Anyway, oh, there it is. Nice flat face. It's got the Tactical Pontoon logo on the side. We've got copper safeties. That is a major one. I am terrible about keeping this in the. You need to hire.
Get your Vanna White on, bro.
I know. I got to hire Vanna White. She's probably pretty cheap now that she's ancient. So here it is, the Tactical Pontoon Peacemaker. The thing about it is, it's not an original design because it doesn't need to be. Okay. It is a variation of the Gunco SS trigger shoe that I've been using for almost 2 years now. What we did was, because I love the design. It's just been an excellent overall design. And instead of going and trying to do something brand new, because really for me, it's what's behind the trigger shoe that matters really more than anything, was I listened to you guys. I've heard what you guys said. I've listened to guys that have been shooting with the Boogeyman trigger for a long time, and my own experiences. So what we did was we took that shoe and we widened the front face by non-freedom unit of 1 millimeter. What would that be? Is that 30 seconds of an inch thereabouts?
It's something like that. Yeah.
Close. call it 30 seconds of an inch. So the front face is wider by 1 millimeter. And the other thing that I got from you guys' feedback is go with a blank front face. Don't put the logo on the front face except for like some custom models. So I did that. And that's really about all that I changed, because from a function standpoint and from a quality standpoint, the SS trigger shoe was the best I've worked with. Overall consistency between frame to frame, that shoe has done very well. So in order to make
beautiful trigger too.
It is. It's truly one of the only thing that the Boogeyman Excommunicado really had on it was from, aesthetically that window, that extra skeletonized window, which is really cool. But and trust me, we thought about doing something like that, but it's their design, Boogeyman's design. I didn't want to steal a design like that, and hopefully the Boogeyman shoe will continue, but I don't know. There's some questions around whether those are going to be around any longer. So it was time for the Peacemaker to come about. So right now, only I have them in black and anodized OD green, and they're beautiful.
That green is sexy.
I know,
sexy.
I know. I had to do green as my launch color, so I'll probably cycle in an FDE soon, and I might add gray. Gray is very hit or miss. What I may do is red, which is another hit or miss color, but I find it to be kind of traditional. So it's like, but what happens, I have to do between 150 at a time of different colors. So to get these cycled in, it takes a little bit of time. I mean, when you think of buying 100 trigger shoes at a time, that gets up there.
Oh yeah,
they're not cheap. Whereas
people do not understand operational cost at all.
It stacks up. I mean, I got back from vacation where I probably spent more than I should have, and then investing in 200 plus trigger shoes, and then all the other parts, trigger bars, which can be very hit or miss, supply and connectors. I bought a massive selection of connectors as well. It adds up. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
We got I Thomas on here. Good to see you. Embalmed. Hey man, don't jump. You have too much to live for. Who was that? Saw a picture of that show on IG. Looks real good. Yeah, the Peacemaker. That, I'm telling you, you guys, me just holding it up here does. Go to Instagram or on the website. I took some pictures. They're not my best pictures. I'm not even gonna lie.
They're beautiful, dude.
They're
your standard is like way up here, dude.
I care about photography. Okay, they're not my best. Some of them are good. Some of them are not great. I'm picky. I'm really picky. So
4.5 stars is still pretty good out of 5.
Hey, it's quality, man. You know me. Got to have my quality.
Hey, always. What's crazy is, for someone like me who I don't know shit about photography at all, right? I look at a picture like yours and I'm like, all right, that's the standard. And then I try to get to that level, right? And so like when you put out a photo that you're like, oh, well, it's okay. I'm like, that's a gorgeous photo still, right? Like, what the hell? What is it? Like, he's blind.
I am blind. I'm just, when I got into photography, I saw a lot of pictures that I really liked, and I wanted to replicate those. And as I started studying, all self-taught, YouTube and just looking at what other people have done. People, they teach you to really look at your photos and scan in. Excuse me. Well, that's what I end up doing, and I'm really picky about some of the stuff I see that some people will never see. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. They're not the best. They do for the most part show it. I need to do some light backgrounds. I have a tendency to do dark backgrounds, as you can see, that don't show everything as good as they could. So, like I said,
You were born in it.
yeah, I was born. I'll do it. I'll do it. I will do it.
I feel like you should make a cameo every pod.
It's coming. All right. We got the Bane here because I was born in the darkness.
You've merely just adopted it.
It's too hot for that. It is too hot. I did too much of that in 2020 at work. Yeah, I'm not getting paid for this. So
yeah, I mean, I Thomas says it right. It's like you're a perfectionist, and that's the thing. Like, because of my ADD, ADHD, my problem is I'm not hyper focused on photography yet. I'm hyper focused on other things, and then when I come back around and I have that thing mastered, then I'll come back and I'll start working on photography.
It's one of those things you do. There's a lot of little details in it.
Yeah. I mean, the hardware. I mean, obviously, I've proven at this point that hardware can only get you so far.
Correct.
So there's got to be somebody behind the fucking camera to do the job.
That's what I keep telling my fiance. The hardware is only going to get you so far. Okay. It's the whole package. Okay. It's the whole package and how you use it. Don't blame the tool.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly.
There
has to be an operator.
There's got to be an operator. Okay. She says she's the operator, and she's probably right. But I'm actually thinking about doing a small video on photography, just like to kind of make it something like a quick reference, trying to make it as simple as possible to just, take some pictures for your website, for Instagram and that sort of thing. But obviously for guys like us, we don't have photographers per se. We got to be everything.
Yeah.
So being able to take at least some quick, decent pictures can make a world of difference on your website. It really can. So,
I mean, just on confidence alone, like I like to know, like when I log into the website, I like it to look a certain way. Like as the owner operator of the business, I like it to project the same kind of perfectionism, I guess, that you and I have for our businesses, right? And so if it doesn't live up to that standard, that's when I think I'm not projecting the image that I want to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to coexist for me too.
Yeah. Having a website is another one that's a lot of work to try to maintain and have a good, clean website.
Yep.
I mean, I do all of that stuff myself as well.
Yep.
And it is a constant struggle to even update it sometimes or add different details and information that I got something in my eye. Just to maintain a website it's all a lot of work.
It is. Yeah. I mean, even, because I was able to tap into other resources like you and others when I was setting up the version of the website that we have now, and learned a little bit about things before we launched this version. Mm-hmm. It was like trying to make it so that maintaining it wasn't so difficult, and even trying to think of all of that. And I'm very good on that side of things. And it's still difficult. It's still difficult to, like, right now, I've been thinking about our website for me is getting a little stale. It's been the same way for a couple of years. We've made some small incremental changes here and there, but I want to overhaul it. Well, in that overhaul, you don't want to basically blow your website up and then, build it from scratch. So trying to figure out how to make the most productive changes that you can in the background, and then kind of run it all at one time to, input this new thing.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It really is. The other thing, at least I know I run into well, I'm sure you run into this too, Canik having all of the different models, is trying to filter everything down so it's relatively easy what somebody's trying to look for. And I've done it multiple different ways, and it seems like there's no good way to you would almost have to have like 3 or 4 different menus that people could choose from, the way that best works for them. With Glock having so many different clones at this point, most of them are Gen 3, some of them are Gen 4, 5, some of them are kind of a hybrid between the two, and then you throw slimlines in there. And some people consider a Glock 43 a Generation 4 or Generation 5, and it doesn't matter sometimes how big you put a warning on the website, they still accidentally order a Generation 4 for a slimline. And then it becomes
this is actually what I've been working on right now, and I've been talking to you a little bit about it because I've been going through the back end of our site trying to do some new stuff, trying to figure out how to crack the code on making it easier, for everybody to navigate through all of our stuff. Because, if everything goes according to plan, we'll have a whole bunch of different categories and parts and stuff available on the website. And I want to make sure that that's laid out appropriately so that people can easily move through it. There's a really good stat on the WordPress backend, and that's duration time.
Yes.
How long it takes somebody to get to where they need to get to, or how long they stay on your website. You want that to be productive time, not they're not searching for shit and can't find it. I have a lot of good insight about that I can talk to you when we're not doing.
We definitely, we don't want to put people to sleep.
Because
it's good.
The minutia of the code.
It's such a good. It's good stuff, and I really need to get better at that. I see the website as a massive pain in my butt, unfortunately, and I love it because it works, and I know it could be so much better, but I just don't spend enough time on it. Like, I update it and I try to keep everything, as close to update as possible, but I don't spend enough time looking at the numbers to actually make it better. And that's something I need to get better at. Or hire somebody. How much how much you cost?
I mean, we might have to get on a trigger per month deal.
Hey, maybe so. I'm not opposed to that. Because I tell you, I love the website. I do, but man, there's a lot of it I don't just.
In general, like, so I was a computer science major before I was a finance economics major. So I know the back end stuff a little bit more. And so for me, like, and WordPress, like, you have a WordPress site too, right?
Correct.
Okay. So WordPress, they make it easy, but the problem is that it's hard to filter out. Like, if you're looking for something specific, you're looking for a plugin to do something specific, you go and search for that thing. Downloading that plugin and activating it on your site is one thing, but getting what you need out of that plugin is a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, to get it to integrate fully and figure out what it can actually do is.
Yep. And so that is what I spent weeks working on, the current version that we have on the site, our site right now, so that it all works seamlessly together and it's as clean as it can be. It's tough because when that was going on, I had all the time in the world. I felt like now to be able to get away from the shop for 4 or 5 days to overhaul the site, because it took that much time
Mhm.
to focus on that in its entirety, that's tough, man.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we can't all just jet set out to New Mexico and then come back and catch up.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know how that goes. Because I'm still deep into it. Every day since I have been back has been full of catching up, making sure that I have what I need,
Yeah.
and getting things built, going through orders that I had racked up, and dealer orders, and dealing with Josh and Will Hernandez of Shogun and JMC Customs, making sure that they're taken care of. And of
Run
course,
JMC.
yeah. Everybody's like, "Hey, you doing frames now?" I should tell them, "Yeah, I'm doing." I'll take
Just take all the credit.
Yeah, I'll take all the credit. I still need to make I need to get a hold of your patch people for the
Yeah, you do.
the card patches. These guys, because
For sure.
that's going to be a really cool patch. I need to do that.
I got a cool story. This is kind of cool. So shout out to a guy named Cody. He's a customer of ours, but this is good. It's a good story. So he sends me a message a couple days ago, and I just get like a message on Business Suite for Facebook, because it all kind of comes to the same place. He sends me a message on Instagram with a photo, and I know Cody, but I don't know what kind of guy he is. I don't know. It could be feet pics for all I know. But anyway, so I open it up, and it's a picture of a disruptive defense patch that is on his Pelican case.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I hope you don't mind. Like, I wanted to rep your company. You guys don't have patches. I have a friend who does embroidery and stuff. So it's an embroidered patch. It's not PVC. It's embroidered.
Yeah.
And so he's like, everybody always asks me about your stuff. So I figured it was, I had to make a couple for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, because we're working on patch designs right now with the same with, the company information that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm like, we're getting ready to order those and get those in and stuff. And so I told him, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I want one of yours. Like,
yeah,
that's awesome, dude. You support us. Like, I want to support you, like 100%.
Yeah.
And he was,
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I was like, well, how much you want for it? He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll send you one. Just send me one of yours when they come in. It's like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, of course. No brainer.
Yeah. That's how Stuart Nordic Nevadan started doing the t-shirts. He does it on the side, and I did through Teespring and that sort of thing there for a while, and he asked if he could do his own. I'm like, yeah, and why don't you become the official dude to make that happen?
For sure.
That's really cool when people go out of their way to do that. Speaking of patches, the run of patches that I have was because one of my customers decided that I was dragging my feet. There it is. And it's funny right now, I'm actually kind of matched the patch because I've got some sun on me now. So I'm darker. So it actually matches. I spent a lot of time in the sun out in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And snow. There was snow. Went from up in the mountain, 40 degrees down to like 80 degrees off of the mountain. And so it's pretty crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, some snow up there. Beautiful country. Beautiful country. I could almost live there except for the winter part.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to get the Jeep stuck, the 2-wheel drive Jeep stuck. We had a little bit of a
hold on. You have a Jeep that's a 2-wheel drive?
Yes. All of my Grand Cherokees have been 2-wheel drive. I don't know what it is. My Durango is 4-wheel drive, but I'm not going to drive.
I feel like you have to actively
I bought it for the dogs.
Dodge the 4-wheel drive when you're looking for Jeeps.
No, not Grand Cherokees. when you buy the
I've had like
cushy.
6 Grands, and they're all 4x4.
Okay, well, yeah, well, you guys are
Or
in
full time.
Michigan. You're in
Yeah,
Michigan, okay?
not always. I lived in.
This was some old grandma's car. This was
I had 2
somebody.
Jeeps when I lived in North Carolina. Like I lived in coastal North Carolina for a few
Don't
years. Had 2
don't you go
Jeeps there.
don't you go throwing knowledge at me, okay? Don't you go throwing knowledge at me. I buy the bad stuff and make it better, okay? That's why I have a Dodge Neon that started out as an automatic single overhead cam 2-liter, and now it's now it's turbo. I take the bad stuff, like a basic bar soap Glock, and I make it better. So
Yeah.
that's so I mean
you're like a Glock rescue center.
Kind of.
You're like you're like a bring your poor and huddled masses.
Yes, and that's why I do with vehicles as well. And I happen to buy this Grand Cherokee. All of my Grand Cherokees, I've had 4 now, and they've all been rear-wheel drive. I guess I just got the crap ones, implying Dodge can never be good. Never said they were good. I said they were fun when they run.
I had a Dodge Dakota quad cab years ago. It was a pretty decent truck. It was a 4.7. It was a decent truck. And then I went from that up to a Ram.
Okay. Did it have a 4.7 as well?
It did have a 4.7 as well.
You got the wrong one. You got the wrong one.
I took the opportunity to get the one that was there. It was a good deal, and I was in a situation, so I bought that.
Okay.
And then I got my first Power Stroke Ford.
Okay.
And I never looked back. So from the Ram, I got a Power Stroke Ford, and I'll never have another kind of truck ever again, I don't think.
Well, that's good for you. I would probably have the Ford over the Chevy, depending on the year.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. My dad works for General Motors, and he knows I would never buy a Chevy truck.
They all break, though. They do.
They all have Achilles heel.
They all break. I went outside the other day to go to the post office, and I hear a horn in the background. Now, granted, I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but I've got neighbors, and I hear a horn outside. I'm like, that sounds kind of close. Just blaring, just full on blaring. I'm like, that's kind of close. And I walk out, and out in front of the shop, there's my old Durango. Horns just blaring, both of them, for no reason whatsoever. I'm like, oh, great. What now? So I go back inside, as I was going to drive the Jeep. I go back inside, get the keys to the Durango, open it up, pop the hood, unplug both horns. Probably the clock spring. Yeah, the clock spring's probably bad. I mean, it's a 26-year-old Dodge. So, I mean, just keep the
98, huh?
99. So, yeah, it'd be 25.
25. Well, 26 I guess if you count the fact that the 25, the model year comes out a year early.
Yeah, I'm not sure which month it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. But it's a Dodge.
That's how long I've been with my wife. 98.
Oh, man. 98? Jeez.
Yeah. Back in the 20th century.
Wow. Yeah, I wasn't interested really in girls. It was all cars at that time.
It was all men?
Well, no. Oh, I mean, there was men who drove cars that we would challenge each other and that sort of thing. I don't know where to go with this, so I'm gonna bring it back.
Anyway, congratulations on the triggers.
Yes, I'm excited about. I am stupid excited about these triggers. I know they're based on another design, but it's a great design that I've been extremely happy with, and they feel really good. So anybody who's got an order in that I'm behind on, and I am behind, if you have a Peacemaker on your order, you're getting the new design. You're getting a free upgrade to the new design, and because that's going to be rolling forward. The Excommunicado shoes are pretty much out the door. I've got some FD and some gold still on the website in the Excommunicado series, but we're rolling back into the Peacemakers, which again, I love the Excommunicado. They were great trigger shoes. Uh, being able to use like the set screw in the trigger pin location is awesome, and just the way that the trigger safety itself fits is just, in my opinion, overall superior. So, and having copper, which is like the new gold, used to be, 2 or 3 years ago everybody wanted gold. Now it's kind of transitioned into copper. Well, now we've got a copper safety, and I'm actually looking at doing some copper slide plates, and maybe some mag extensions in copper, which would look really cool. Does my mom know I'm gay? She probably already knows. She doesn't have hope for me.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a nature thing than a nurture.
Yeah, she already knows. She's more of a jerk than I am, and we're like, I'm up there, so it's okay.
I'm with Will. Rose gold has always been superior to so the copper. What's cool about copper anodized is it definitely gives off a rose gold appearance too. That's what's kind of cool about it, is it can go kind of both ways. And
that's why I like my copper, I guess.
So yeah, that's a good color. And so I just sprayed for the first time actually. Cerakote came out with 2 new colors that kind of resemble rose gold, like a rose goldish color. One is called Blush, and then the other one is called Tequila Sunrise, I think. They're both very, very nice. They're nice colors. So
well, that seems to be that's the trend here lately. I feel like as soon as like Shadow really started doing a lot of the bronze and copper, that's when it seems to really have taken off, at least from what I've noticed on ordering. So
what's interesting is the first person that I saw doing, like, they were just experimenting with all kinds of crazy ano colors and stuff, was actually Zach from Black Phoenix, formerly Kill Shot Precision. He would post, I don't know who he knows, but he must have somebody in that industry, because he would be like, oh, check out this purple color, this greenish color, this, that. Man, it was like every week he'd have some crazy new color.
Yeah.
And it would be like a plating or like a PVD style coating. So it's like, holy crap, we're not just talking like straight anodizing. You would do like slides and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I have to explain to a lot of people the difference between anodizing and like your PVD, your titanium nitride. When they want everything to match, it's like it's different materials, so those finishes are going to be different. Your titanium nitride is not going to match gold anodizing. They're going to be different.
I feel like there's a maturity that people get to where they start to embrace the different
50
colors.
shades of
I feel like you get to a point where you're like, it's green. It's green, or it's tan, or it's black, or it's gray, or whatever it is. And it's just, if it's in that colorway, that range, acceptable range, it's all good with me. Like,
I think it does become, they get to a point where they start understanding there are differences in the materials, and it does take money to, if they don't want to spend the money to go in and have it all Cerakoted one color. You start to see that it's kind of like when you're growing up coloring things in your coloring book, and you get flesh color and it's just peach. And then you realize that people are, we have, different skin pigments, and you get really red like me when you're out in the sun, or you get excited, you get red. You get there's different colors and variations. So that 50 shades of FDE or 50 shades of ODG, it looks more real versus just one color that's sprayed on Cerakote wise.
I'm telling you, as a Cerakoter, I actually prefer the little batch differences in some of that stuff. Like, if if somebody is trying to match, if that's their goal, then you definitely have to do it all at once. However, I've done so many of those where like somebody will come in, and my first Cerakote job that I sent out was before I even started coding. This was like forever ago.
Yeah.
I sent it out to get FDE, and I wanted it all to match. And when I got it back, it looked awful. Like all of it, just in all of it being the same color is too much.
Yeah.
There's got to be some variation. And then what's funny is
a little bit of contrast goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, 6061 is different than 7075, is different than the stainless steel barrels, is different than, the little things here and there. So there's already some color differences, but it's not purposeful enough for you to be like, oh, that's cool. It's like, oh, that's just really fucking annoying. It's like, oh, it's not right. Like the Cerakote is one of the best coatings on the planet to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's not much you can do when the internal temperature of steel, when you're trying to cure it, is way hotter than the internal temperature of aluminum because of their ability to, heat the way they handle heat differently.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Heat
so, I mean, that's
transfer,
just the way that it goes.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. And there's little tricks that I've learned over the years to make it better, different temperatures, different cure times, different times to put it in the oven, whether it's flashing it out or whatever. There's all kinds of different tricks and tips that you can do to make it a little bit better. And but it's never going to be 100%. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah. Even anodizing, you get lots of different shades of anodizing. I know I used to get back when I was dealing with that one company that basically did all their anodizing out back. Man, so many reds would be pink.
Yeah.
I would have so many pink trigger shoes, and it's like, dude, could you have at least held on to it and redone? It's like, I'll wait on it. Just make sure it's red. I don't need pink. Of course, I wish I had held. I'm not those, but I could sell pink now. That's a color that people have on their guns all the time now. But back then it was red. So
yeah, right. And that's the thing. It's all about expectations, right? Like that's something that I preach. Like in my head, it's just ingrained. As an owner operator, like I need to make sure that I give the customer the right expectations up front, throughout the process, and even after the sale, right? Like they have to have an expectation. And as long as I live up to that expectation, then
keep it low.
Service or quality. Exactly.
Sorry.
No, yeah. I mean,
kidding.
it's just it's less about like wowing the customer with bullshit as it's more important to just deliver on what you say you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And when you're first getting started, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this, and getting it done is the checkbox, right?
Yeah.
But you get a little bit better, you get a little bit more confident, you can start kind of really narrowing it in on what you're doing and what your expectation needs to be. And, you get to a point where like you are, or I'd like to think we are in the space that we're in, where you can say we're the best. And that's what you can expect. Whether it's before the sale, you have questions, we'll answer them the best of our ability. If we can't answer them, we'll tell you we can't.
Yeah. Being honest.
Yeah. And that's it. During the sale, after the sale, all of it. We'll make sure that we take care of you to the best of our ability, and we'll level with you, one way or another. I don't like to pull any bullshit. I'm not a salesman. I try and fucking tell people if it's a user error, that's a tough topic to discuss, but it's something that's important.
Yeah. That one comes up a lot. User error comes up. And what I try to do, instead of even let's say I know almost for a fact, because there's always little things that come up, is to address it with questions. I start with questions and try to, especially if it's something I know for a fact is user error, I'll try to bring it to the forefront with questions, and so that they might be able to see, hey, maybe, oh, this is something I did.
Right.
And
Well,
I
there's a
shouldn't
huge
do.
difference. There's a huge
Yeah.
difference between someone not knowing and
Yeah.
doing it versus somebody knowingly doing something poorly or inaccurately, and fucking things up. There's a
Yeah.
big difference there, right? So
True.
that's a whole
Yeah.
thing too.
Oh yeah. I've been very fortunate to really not have a lot of those that are doing it like on purpose.
Yeah.
So that one I've been able to kind of not really deal with a lot. It would depend on the situation.
It's
It
a
would
tough one.
depend. That is a tough one.
Yeah.
I would. I don't
I've
know.
dealt with it. I swear. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. And I hope that they understand that I'm not trying to come at it from like a whiny, bitchy perspective. And you know better than I do. Well, I don't know, maybe not better, but you've got just as much experience in it as I do, that this industry in the background, there's a lot of cutthroat competition. And there's a lot of people that, and what we have experienced, I mean, I don't have any proof of this, so I'm not sitting there accusing anybody in particular or whatever, but it seems that there has been evidence that other companies have purchased product from us and they have tried to besmirch, I guess it's probably a $2 word for the day.
Yeah.
What we're doing to kind of keep us from doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, I've got no sympathy in telling them to fuck off. Obviously not a customer, right? Like a real customer.
Yeah.
Everybody who knows me knows that I am 100% transparent. If it's our problem, I'll take full responsibility for it. We'll handle the situation. And I usually make the customer super, super happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's been one instance. We've been in business for quite some time. There's been one instance where we were starting to make waves and a customer had contacted us, and it was obvious bullshit what was going on. And it was a situation where, they had said that the comp caused, one of our first comps caused a problem where they had to take it to a gunsmith. The gunsmith charged him $80 to remove the comp from the threaded barrel, and the gunsmith said that there was excess Cerakote, that the threads were cut incorrectly. And I even upfront said, hey, that's very much a possibility. Send me these pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and send me the receipt for the gunsmith stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll cover the expense that you spent on getting the gunsmithing stuff taken care of. And I'll send you a new comp, or I'll refund you your money on top of it. So that way you're not out anything. Mm-hmm. And come to find out that particular individual is somebody that works for a competitor.
Yeah.
And never provided me with any of that. And I mean, I still to this day, if he was to provide me with that information, I'd still take care of it. Like, it's just, that's those kinds of situations. They're tough, man.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's not a fun thing. Having, like you said, genuine mistakes or misunderstandings are something completely different from that. And but when you get people that are legitimately coming after you, it can also, like you said, it can be a very difficult situation, because especially if they're not publicly known as being part of that company or something of that matter.
Oh yeah,
that can get out. Those messages, let's say for example, you knew that he was this, and you told him to go fuck himself.
To be clear, I did not say that to him.
No, I figured you didn't. But let's say for example you did, and that message then gets out. and you look like this terrible person when the reality is it's something different. So yeah,
I honestly think that's what they were fishing for.
it's possible. Which is one of the reasons why sometimes a phone call can be better.
Yeah, well,
But I prefer having a log of chat or emails back and forth.
It's nice to have it in writing.
Yes,
That's all I got to say. Yeah, I mean, those kind of situations, obviously every customer service situation that we deal with, whether it be positive or negative, we take seriously, and we try and really, really soak in the positive stuff, which is obviously we have excellent feedback from all of our customers, as I'm sure you do as well. Yeah, I mean, but
it's so I say that only because it's so easy to remember the bad stuff.
It is.
Whether it's publicly or otherwise, sometimes it's so easy because you take that in just because you pride in what you do. So I don't mean that in a bad way. I got some of the coolest people ever.
Oh, we were just talking the patch guy, right? Like those kind of people, they restore your faith, and then like, and I'm not trying to speak ill of this particular customer, but there was a customer who bought a tool of ours. I designed a tool to allow the mechanic is kind of a pain in the ass to switch the magazine release from right hand operation to left hand operation. There's a really, really tough spring that's in there, and getting it out is really simple, obviously, but being able to reinsert it is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And when we were designing the mag catch, we do an upgraded mag catch for customers who don't have the interchangeable mag releases and stuff. So when we were designing that, I said, I'm never going to release it if I can't figure out a way to make it easier to install.
Yeah.
And so I figured out a way to make this tool, and I was just going to include it with our mag catches. Well, we had like hundreds of messages for customers saying you need to sell the tool separately. And I'm like, yeah, but it's 3D print, it's going to cost too much to manufacture for a one-time use, and they're like, well, put it for 10 or 15 bucks and, we'll buy it and, everything will be good. And I said, okay, but you need to understand, like, it's 3D print. Like, we're not talking about a tool. Like, I did it and I sat there and I made a video on it and all this other stuff. And I've used a single mag catch tool for us about 15 or 16 times before it'll snap. And that's just because the 3D print's only so strong. And the spring that inserts into the tool is incredibly strong. And so it eventually will just wear out and break. But anyway, this customer ordered a mag catch tool and it broke on him right away. And instead of contacting us, which is obviously the first thing that I would do as a customer, he just goes out onto one of the Facebook groups and he's like, and he was really derogatory about it. He was like, this thing's a fucking piece of shit. He's like, what are they thinking? This thing's a piece of trash. Yeah. And I messaged him. I mean, this is the kind of customer service that I'd like to provide as an owner operator. I messaged him and I said, hey, I understand the way that you feel. Not really the right way to go about it. Like, I'll refund you your money because you had an unfortunate experience. I'll send you another one if you want to retry it.
Yeah.
But
I include this tool as kind of like a bonus because nobody else makes one.
And there's a disclaimer on the website that says, like, hey, this is a 3D printed tool. It's really only made for single use, but with the right amount of care, and the proper usage, because I did a video on how to use it properly. It's if you use it incorrectly, there's a part that you have to like torque the tool into the channel. So you're under spring tension, you got to twist it and pop it into the slot before you insert the spring. Yeah. And that's that torquing, that twisting motion is right where the layers are on the tool. And so it causes it to snap.
Yeah.
And so, I just, customers need to think a little bit more about what they're doing. Like, it hurts.
Yeah.
I I spent the time designing that thing, as a thing to help, our customers who buy the Mag Catch, make it easier for them to install. We don't charge a whole lot for it. And it was something that I wasn't even going to consider selling separately.
Yeah.
But I do, because we got so many people who are asking about it. And we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands at this point, sold. And only maybe, I don't know, 24 people have messaged us about it snapping. And everybody else has pretty much universally said, it's amazing. Can't do it without it.
Yeah. It is definitely one of those things where overall you win. But there's going to be a couple losses in there where, as you said, sometimes people don't think about, they think more of traditional style businesses where their email goes, it seems like, their email is forgotten for like 3 or 4 days, whereas you can go on social media and get somebody to comment on your post immediately.
Yeah.
It can be an unfortunate part. I know for most social medias, like I'm not on Reddit. I probably should be on Reddit because there's a lot of Glock stuff on Reddit, but
shout out to the Canic subreddit.
I try to field as many, issues as possible that come up on like different Glock groups on Facebook or different things on like Instagram, YouTube, obviously. So that, because people sometimes forget that they can just shoot me a message real quick and I'll answer the question right then and there. Instead of blowing it up publicly for something small. But unfortunately, that's kind of the way things are.
It is. And you know what? It's unfortunate because those customers, like I tell my kids this a lot, and I'm not trying to speak down to the customer or whatever to say, any sort of commentary on the relationship between us and the customer. But I tell my kids all the time that they need to take it like into consideration what they're doing. Like they need to think about what they're doing before they do it. And they need to think about what they say before they say it. And they need to, to try and get the right, like what's the goal, right? The goal is to be heard, right? And if the goal is to be heard, then speak clearly to the people that are listening. And the people who are listening are you and I, right?
Should be. Yes.
Right. And so I try to put it out there that the customer can contact me for anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's me, like they know I'm out there, you're out there. Like people know who we are in those Facebook groups and on, Instagram and stuff like that.
All they got to do is look at their toolbox of their gun. They got a picture of me staring at them.
and that's the thing. Like they know, and it's not until they do it that first time that they realize they can do it anytime. But until that first time, they don't know, and it's our job. Like they're not wrong in a sense that, okay, they're pissed off. They spent $15 for this tool and it broke on them. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me an opportunity to make it right.
Yeah.
Give me the chance to show you that I value your being a happy and a customer more than I do your money, because that's where we shine.
Correct. It's I put a lot of things out there in the groups about helping with other people's trigger systems to try to make sure that they know they can come to me, whether it's my trigger, whether it's somebody else's trigger or factory trigger, and I'll see what I can do to help them. And you can ask people. I don't push them towards buying any of mine. We try to get, I try to make sure that we establish a baseline, figure out what the issue is, and try to get it running to the best of its ability. And if I think it's something that actually needs to be replaced, from the company or whatever, I'll let them know. But for the most part, it's normally something we can get fixed. And then I just tell them, hey, when you're ready for something better, hit me up.
Yeah. I mean, countless customers message us, and I, we either don't make it, or we haven't released it yet, or we don't have any plans to make it. And I'll make recommendations, man. You know me, and I've talked about it on the pod before. The rising tide raises all ships, right?
It does.
We don't have to be in direct competition with one another. There's enough people in this market that we can all win.
Yeah.
And so the BS that happens in the industry sometimes really pisses me off, in a sense that, listen, like, you're out there doing the same thing I am. Mm-hmm. You're not my enemy.
Yeah.
There's customers that are going to like your stuff better than mine. There's customers that are going to like your design aesthetic better than mine.
Yeah.
I just know that to the best of my ability, I make it perform, function, and look as good as I know how to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you put your name on something that you genuinely feel is worthy. You're not just throwing your name out there on anything. So
right. And so I make recommendations for people, like if there's a product that we don't make, or a product that even we're out of stock on, I'll say, but I definitely tell them, hey, in my opinion, we're the best. If we make that product, and I explain to them why. It's not just a bias. Yeah. There's facts there as to why I think it's better. And then if we don't, I don't have a problem. There's companies out there that make other products that we don't. There's companies out there that do things that we don't. Awesome. Yeah. And especially the small businesses. I love sending people to other small businesses where I know the owner, or I know the operator, and I know that money is going to go to them and their family, as opposed to some investor somewhere doing God knows what, or Lenny McGill.
Yeah, Lenny McGill. I had somebody get mad at me when I told them to not waste their time with Glock Store. Just upset. He was just like, how can you prove that? I'm like, dude. And so I listed like multiple times that I have ordered stuff, and it not only the stuff that did come in, like, I used to order connector. I used to check out their connectors and stuff, look at that, or any other part that I've ever ordered that was double diamond or whatever his brand is, always looked like it was chewed out of the cheapest metal by starving children. Okay. Chewed out of metal. Like, their connectors are some of the rawest looking, just oddly enough, they work though. That's the weird thing about their connectors. They're trigger bars and that sort of thing. But a lot of their stuff is just, but again, I'm trigger stuff. I've ordered stuff to try, like factory components that they said they had in stock, and then all of a sudden it's not in stock. It'll be 3 weeks later. It's like, man, I only ordered from you guys because I needed it.
Yep.
They're as bad as Optic Planet in my book when it comes to bait and switch.
Those two, and then cheaper than dirt. I don't shop at any one of those three places.
I have not shopped at cheaper than dirt in years, but Optics Planet, some people swear by them. They love saving $5 and waiting 3 months. I can't do it.
No,
I can't do it with Optics Planet. And then Glock Store, like I said, most of their products, like I said, they're just extremely cheap looking and performing. And if you try to buy, I would try to buy frames from them back in 2018, 2019, when you could buy frames because everybody was stripping parts for P80s. Mm-hmm. It was like $70 to ship it. You get a $60 frame and $70 to ship it. It's like, it doesn't cost that much to ship a frame.
Yeah,
I know. So, the Lenny McGill thing, but
I still have my beef goes all the way back real quick. I just want this to be public.
Yeah.
So was it you that sent me the Lenny McGill video?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which one?
When he was like, I'm concealing 11 weapons on me, 11 firearms on me right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember this video when it came out, like forever ago, right? Yeah. Or at least the first time that I saw it, which was like 20 years ago.
I was going to say that was before my time, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So And it's like, what
He's got
pisses
some
me off the
cringe
most.
videos. Yeah.
So, okay, two things. He ankle holsters a Glock 19, which is crazy. One. Two, so he claims he's got 11 firearms. The very beginning of the video, he's got 11 firearms concealed on his person.
Yeah.
He goes through all 10, the first 10, and then where's the 11th one? He pulls it out from underneath a table. It's taped to the fucking table that he's like leaning on in the beginning of the video. It's like,
he's
you were
going
a
Han
liar
Solo.
then.
He's going Han Solo. He's going Han Solo on you. He's got it under the table.
You were a liar then.
If you've ever looked him up on Google, he's got some old, really cringe videos. I think before the Glock store, where he was like walking stick jujitsu or some bullshit, and like I think there's one where he's dressed up as a ninja. It's fucking great. It's great. But
I do want to publicly address this. Will Stone Santa is the one who sent me that video, not you.
Okay, I know I sent you the walking stick one. Walking stick, yeah. Okay,
sorry,
well,
Will.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm just the gay one. That's all right. I can live with that. Going back, trying to make sure that the customer gets the right thing. I had an experience here. It was a couple weeks ago where a guy asked because he had, and I have small little girl hands, but he had a Glock 43 and he was having trouble reaching the trigger. I think he may have been Asian for looking at his name, but he asked if my trigger shoe would bring it back far enough so that he could reach. He was asking what the measurements were. So I waited till the next day because it was late when I got his message. And so I measured, and I was upfront and honest with him what the measurement was, and it's not going to do what he wanted it to do.
Right, because he wants it to come back.
Yeah, even farther.
He's got a shorter reach.
And so what I did was I got him in touch with one of, actually it was Tommy Alvarez at Tommy Gun Stippling, so that maybe he could do a modification on the back strap to shrink that down so that he could get a good hold on it. Well, he sent me a message back and he said, hey, I got a hold of another trigger company. I won't mention who. And he said, they said their trigger will bring that back with, over a quarter of an inch back. And I'm like,
a quarter inch?
I know. I was like,
so it just comes pre-fired.
Yeah. I'm like, I said, he asked because I said, I have one of those triggers. I happen to have a variation of one of those triggers. And I said, I will put it in the frame and I will send you a picture of the measurement so that you can see, because that's not accurate.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with them not being a trigger that I use or anything like that. So I sent him a picture with the measurement, and it was basically the same as mine, minus about 60 thousandths because they have a little more take up out of it. I said, this is where it's at. I said, trigger's not going to be where you need. You really need some grip modification. So I got him set up, and whether he buys a trigger for me or not, the idea was not to be a salesman. It was just to get the guy taken care of.
Right.
I can sell a trigger all day long, but if I sell somebody something that's not what they need, they can tell people that, all I was doing was trying to sell them crap instead of trying to get somebody taken care of. Maybe I missed out on one sale, but he'll send me, one or two other people, and I make it up that way. But
on all of our product cards, on the backside of all of our product cards, and I'm dead serious about this. It is the one thing that I live by when it comes to our customers. On the backside of every card that we sell, it says, we will never take you for granted. It's like, I'll never just assume that you're here, and I'll always try to make the right impression on you as an owner operator to make sure that you understand that we value every single time you come to us.
Yeah.
Whether it's for our product or not, we want to cultivate an atmosphere of just being right. Like,
Yeah.
not and when I say right, I don't mean correct. I mean just being on the good side of things.
Yeah.
Like Will said, ethically run. Yeah, I mean, if our product doesn't match your need, I'm not going to sell it to you, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
if you think about it, let's say they don't go online and blast your name for selling the wrong thing. Let's say they send it back. Okay.
yeah,
That comes in a hassle of its own. Whether you pay for shipping or they pay for shipping, somebody's going to be out.
yep.
You have a part that may be used, which is now, unless for some reason, I know, like a comp, good luck cleaning that thing up enough to sell as new again. Same with the
I have a
trigger.
big fucking mountain of them.
Same with the trigger. They get dirty and scratched up. That once that shoe's used, it's it gets thrown in one of my guns, and I got everybody's. When anybody asks me for blims and stuff, I'm like, what do you think my stuff runs? All I'll ever get are the blims.
Yeah. Oh man, there's nothing on any of our test guns that are
Yeah.
like, they're functionally perfect.
Yeah.
But cosmetically, they're just a shit show.
Yeah. Like I said, you're the same. You're the same way. We, as business owners, we get to run all the blemish models. So there's
sure.
no blims. There. Every once in a while, I'll have a blemished one, and I'll put it up for sale. But I know you've kind of got a little different deal. But yeah, it becomes a hassle to return things. It just does. So I want to make sure that when it goes out, it stays out there.
Yeah.
Or maybe they need something a little bit different, some adjustments made. Maybe they want to upgrade to another system. That's a different deal. And I'm all for that. I can, like, send it back to me. We'll figure out what maybe they want it a little bit lighter, a little bit heavier, or maybe just a little bit crisper. We can adjust for that. And I would rather do that than just do a straight refund.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that it gets out there and meets their needs.
Yeah.
Which is cool about being a small company.
Speaking of that, like, I was about to tap on that too. It's so
would that be sloppy seconds at that point?
Maybe. So Canic being
Pro Mag. Oh, Pro Mag. Please never. Oh, sorry.
This guy. Fucking Will. Anyway. So I lost my train of thought because he's talking about Pro Mag. Anyway, Canic, because your
brain couldn't feed properly, just like a
for
Pro
sure.
Mag. Sorry.
Processing, yeah.
Or is it Janik?
It's the follower.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Is it Janik or is it Canic?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, it's Janik, not in the United States, and then it's Canic here. But anyway, so Canic sends all this stuff over to the United States. Obviously, Century Arms and a subsidiary of Century Arms called Canic USA imports them from Turkey, and then they're the ones. Some of them are manufactured in Florida now. Some of them are manufactured still in Turkey. But anyway, there was a rash of Canics that a lot of them come optic cut for a plate system that we sell plates for.
Yeah,
and one of the things that Canic does, they include plates in their guns that are kind of mass produced. There's a bunch of tolerance, like, not issues, they're just sloppy.
Yeah,
right, they're just way over tolerance, right?
Yeah.
And so when we manufactured our plate, I wanted it to be tight, and I wanted it to fit right, and I wanted it to be good, and so Canic actually imported a whole bunch of slides that have a small ledge in the rear where it's a defect in the slide, actually. And there was a bunch of customers, I'd say maybe 30 total. And I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of orders, but 30 total that contacted us that were saying, hey, your plate doesn't fit.
Oh, no.
There's something wrong with the plate. And it's like, send me a picture because you're the first, or so the first few times I was like, send me a picture, something's up.
Yeah.
Right. Because we QC a lot,
Mhm.
and do a really good job of it. I'd like to think anyway. So they send me a picture and I end up finding out that there's a little ledge left over from the machining operation.
Oh,
And
no.
that small ledge, I mean, it's like legit, maybe 10 thou, maybe
Positive?
positive.
Oh, no.
And so it's a 10 thou ledge on the rear of the. So I tell the customer, and they don't like hearing the fact that, like, it sounds bad when I say, no, this isn't our plate. This is actually a defect from Canic.
Yeah.
But what we'll do is, because we're a small business, because we can move and we're more agile, I'll prepay the shipping. You return the plate to me. I'll slot it out so that, and then I'll recode it so it's brand new.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did that about, like I said, maybe 24 times, or maybe a little more than that. And customers ecstatic, but it's like the bigger business, like, we're having to make adjustments for the bigger company because of how agile we are. We're not able to count on the mass manufacturing tolerances that they should have, but they don't check because their adapter plates are so fucking sloppy.
Yeah. And, kind of speaking on the same level of a small company where I just got pro-magged. I saw Blade Boy was here, and I got pro-magged. My brain wasn't feeding. Yes, he made it. It's good. Normally he's late. I'll get a message that he missed it. So it's good to have him here as we're getting close to wrapping up, but that's okay. You made it. That's good. What was I going? Oh, for example, on like trigger groups, I have with like my higher end stuff, especially the Leonidas, I take into account all of the different types of frames because each one has a different tolerance.
Yeah.
And in order to build it correctly for that, I have to build it in that frame itself, whether it's the new Grit Grips frame, Nomad, factory Glock Gen 1, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
6 eventually. Dagger. Shadow. What's that? Combat Armory.
Yep.
I
Strike when they were around.
P80. That's P80. I actually pretty much took my P80 frame and set it off to the side, let it gather dust. I really don't sell a lot of the high-end stuff for the P80 stuff anymore, but I still got my test frame. It's just kind of collecting dust now.
Yeah.
The Grit Grip took its spot in my immediate. But as a small company, in order for me to build my high-end stuff, I have, and it's in the drop down. You pick the actual frame versus something that's going to meet all of the different frames. The trigger, especially in triggers, when they came out with all these different clones, what worked for a Glock frame and was safe was not so safe for daggers. Daggers were really bad. There were a lot of triggers that didn't meet all the drop safe requirements in a dagger. Some of the companies have adjusted, some of them haven't. Slim lines, especially your clone slim lines, SCT, micro dagger, they have a larger trigger guard opening, which means that trigger sits back farther and actually can fall beyond that safety ledge. That's one of the things why I'm not a big proponent of having a trigger, my mass produced trigger having no take up. With all of these different Glock clones out there, you really run into issues with safety. Now, when you want a higher quality, tighter tolerance trigger, I have those and they're built to those frames.
Yeah.
But if you want to save money and get the best possible, because let's be honest, pre-travel is the first shot.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I like a trigger right up on the wall, but pre-travel really is only the first shot.
Yep.
I don't know on that shallow tech frame 365. I'm not a big Walmart SIG guy. Once they went to the US, I don't know. For me, the quality is just not there.
Also, I'll answer his question here. So why can't I find screws to install RMR on my Pro Cut slide? So RMR screws, wow. Will, my cholesterol, what a dick. Anyway, so RMR screws, you got to figure it out. So the Pro Cut slide, I believe, is a 632 thread, and you're going to need for an RMR, you're going to need the flathead Allen wrench or flathead socket screw, which is on the angle 45 degrees cut
chamfer
on the side of the chamfer. Undercut, James. Undercut.
How about shit? It's been too long since I did rivets. What are they? A 426 is a countersunk rivet. The countersink is 45 degrees. Motherfucker.
636 or 640. Okay, what? Really? 636? That would be ridiculous. That would be a really hard screw to find. I would check if it really is 636 or 640. I would look at McMaster-Carr. You're good luck finding something locally. Your best bet locally is to try and find a small hardware store that specializes in fasteners or a Fastenal store.
Yeah, Fastenal's kind of, well, they can order it in. They can order it in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might be able to order it in. Your chances of finding 636 are slim to none locally, period. 640, I have a couple places
Granger,
close to us.
Granger, those guys are fast.
Granger's good.
And as for your cholesterol, that just means that your testosterone's up.
Hey,
cholesterol, yeah.
I just want to say this. I had blood work done not too long ago, Will, and my cholesterol was absolutely fantastic. In fact, the doctor told me that I should have an alcoholic drink once a day to up my good cholesterol because my good cholesterol was actually low.
Oh, well, y'all need Jesus, just like your shirt says. Got oxygen?
Exactly.
Got oxygen? 10,000 feet. I did not have oxygen. I can be honest. I was feeling a little slow. everywhere up there, because the baseline was like 6,000 feet. Well, off the mountain was about 5. At 5,000 feet, both myself and my 2-wheel drive Jeep were feeling it. Okay.
Oh, I bet. 2-wheel drive Jeep.
Hey, jeez. It's for the dogs. Okay. And it's a great vehicle for anything but off-roading. Can't eat hamburgers? Oh, poor bastard.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to have a 2-wheel drive Jeep.
It's actually just perfectly fine.
That's blasphemous.
It works great on the road. I have my Durango that is 4-wheel drive, and it is great for anything else that I need to go off-road with. And, when I want to feel even less gay, I drive my Challenger. Okay.
That's true. All right.
We won't talk about the Neon, though. We won't talk about the Neon.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, we had a Kia Soul there for a while, a few years back.
Oh, I actually
green.
So the other day.
I hear those are the new Altima, by the way.
I was in line at the grocery store. And I heard apparently this couple in front of us were talking about buying a new vehicle, and this guy, for some reason, he blurted out, he's like, nobody ever wants to buy a Kia Soul. You only buy it because you have to, and it's like, I couldn't pick a better way to describe the Kia Soul than that.
This was years ago. Were
you sucked in by the hamster commercials?
I knew my credit was not good. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the time, my girlfriend's brother had destroyed her minivan that she had let him borrow it while we went on vacation. We came back and he had blown the motor in her minivan. And we hadn't been together very long. I was like, we'll go down to Kia. Let's go see what they got. And we drove a little Kia, some other little car, but she spotted this green Kia Soul out on the lot, and she fell in love with it. She was not used to driving newer. I know.
I mean, she likes you, so obviously
she likes me.
ugly
So
shit.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I can't. I already know she's got bad taste. She likes me. She drove the Kia Soul, her first new vehicle, and she fell in love with it. And we ended up buying that. Hated that dealer. Thought I was gonna have to beat the general manager's ass. Excuse me. But then we traded that off a while back for a
there you go
Jeep Renegade.
If I have an adjustable reset Glock trigger, will setting it too much cause it to run away on you?
No. That one I get. People ask me that type of stuff, and no. If anything that's well, they're all technically adjustable, but normally when people talk about adjustable, they're talking about over travel and pre-travel stops.
Yeah.
Now, if you adjust the over travel in too much, it won't fire. If you remove all of the if you basically put that over travel stop in neutral so that it's no longer acting, it's just going to act like a regular trigger. If it is adjustable on the pre-travel side, basically what'll happen, you can add too much pre-travel, or you can take up too much pre-travel, and it'll just basically be at a fired position. And then when it goes to reset, it'll reset, but it won't fire again because it can't move forward far enough for it to actually reset. And then it's probably unsafe, just drop safe wise. But no, it's not going to cause it to run away. What's going to cause it to run away or go binary is not enough adjustment of your cruciform or interface on your cruciform and your striker load. So that's where that's at. So get yourself a Glock armorer's plate.
I know somebody who has some. Don't you sell them?
I do, but I'm not trying to be a salesman. I do have them. I've added the new logo. Well, by new logo, I mean the Heisenberg logo on them. So connector tension, no, not now. Connector tension, if you don't have enough tension, which would be spring pressure away from the the housing, it'll either not reset, or the trigger bar will pass right by the ledge and not drop. But yeah, they're easy to make. But no, connector tension is basically if you have too little, the trigger bar will ride past the connector and just not activate. If you have too much tension, especially with like 3.5 pound connectors, aftermarket connectors, you can run into an issue where it can go binary. But normally, factory connectors, dot connectors, non-mark connectors, too much tension is just going to be a really heavy trigger. So
he says he made one.
Yeah, easy to make. Yeah, you just chop the bottom off a plastic one. You don't have to buy one of my overpriced ones.
I disagree.
I like having the aluminum one just because it's one, it's got my logo, and two, I use them all the time. So having a good ones. All of my installers have one of the good ones.
Eventually, you know what I need is I need a steel one so that I can put it on my bench magnet.
Why? Just to keep it from being lost.
Yeah, because it's so little that it ends up just getting chucked into the tools, and it falls to the bottom underneath all the barrel nut wrenches and all that shit that I have. I need a steel one so I can because I have a big magnet on my bench. And
I need somebody to introduce an aluminum magnet. They would make so much money with an aluminum magnet. Not that it exists, but it would be great.
Yeah, it doesn't.
In aviation, where you have to, when you drill parts and that sort of thing, you're always drilling parts. I mean, that's what I said. My whole job was drilling holes in things and plugging them back up. You drill holes in things, and you have to remove all of the chips, all of the, I mean, you're vacuuming all over the place. Having any sort of aluminum magnet would have saved us so much time building aircraft. So, little side.
I'll get on it.
You do that. So let's not waste any more time. You get off here right now. You go get that built. Get that made. Don't worry about building comps or plates or anything like that. Just get that aluminum magnet made.
Yeah.
Right now, I probably wouldn't use it, but we could make a lot of money in the aviation industry.
Yeah.
Lots of money. Let's do it.
We could just buy our own plane with the profits.
Let's do it. Forget all this trigger and comp. No. All right. Let's call it. It's good to be back. We were gone for a couple weeks. We should be back on a regular schedule. I am too hemmed in to try to sneak away for another weekend or week. So we're going to be back for a while.
Yep, I'm not going anywhere unless I come down to look at houses or something near you. Then we'll just do one live.
Just make sure to bring that. That would be cool. That would be really cool, actually. We could both fit in the shop. It'll be cool.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Maybe we'll do it live at like a bar or something, just to fuck around.
That'd be cool as well. Be a little loud, but
that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's we'll jump off here. Is there anything you want to bring up before we get offline here? Anything you need to bring anybody? Okay. For me, check out the new triggers. Buy one if you need one. If not, we'll what's more efficient, a portage slide or a comp? I'm gonna say a comp because my dear friend is a compensator builder.
There's a difference. There's a lot to go into that. I mean,
there really is actually.
Length of the barrel is really important. Mm-hmm. The load, the ammo load, what the purpose is. Whether you're willing to lose feet per second, that kind of thing. All that matters.
Yeah.
The porting a barrel is very effective. It's definitely like it's a crude way to get the job done, right? I feel like a comp, incrementally you get a little bit of a longer barrel. You can fine tune directional capabilities a little bit differently. Like pretty consistently, your ports are either on like a 30 degree or like a 25 degree angle where there's two, and you have a V-set porting, or you have the single line down the center. Yeah. In a comp, you can be a little bit more geometric as to where all that stuff flows.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit more of a purposeful design behind a comp.
I would say overall, for overall accuracy and maintaining FPS, a compensator is going to be a better option. If you are wanting something that is shorter, ports are probably going to be better, but there's definitely trade-offs. You're going to lose some FPS. You're going to get things dirty, and there, depending on the time of day, you can get a lot more flash out of that port.
Yeah, it's a super heavy question. There's a lot more variables there than a lot of people realize.
Yeah.
It's not, and they're not interchangeable. I mean, yes, they do a similar purpose, but they do it in different ways. And so there's a lot that goes along with that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to talk a little bit more or get more into it, feel free to email or whatever. I'll get real in depth if you really want to. But I believe in 9 out of 10 times, I think a comped pistol is better than a ported pistol. I also think it's a more pinpoint solution than just kind of venting, And so I think in that sense, I would go for a comped pistol most of the time.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Hit him up direct for a little bit more science, and we'll jump off here and be back next week with number 10 of Work Harder Weekly. So we're Yes, the big 1-0. We've made it 10 episodes.
Double digits.
I got to come up with a new thumbnail. So if you have an idea, be sure to hit me up this week.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Like Blade Boy, hit him up direct. It looks like yeah, that I remember when those started really hitting the market.
If you're talking about a Glock 19 and a Comp 19 all day, a Glock 19, comped Glock 19, I'll take that twice a day and 3 times on Sunday over a Glock 17 all day, every day.
I'll take my ported 31, my 357 SIG, but that's just for fun. That's just for fun. All right, everybody. We will catch you next week. All
right, see you guys.
Oh, wait, email.
I'll put it in the comments.
Put it in the comment. We'll see if it. Yeah. Let's do that. We good?
Oh, fuck it. It did.
It ate it. It ate it. Okay.
You have to put it out there because.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's
what is
disruptivedefense@gmail.com.
Yes, I'm really gonna screw this up.
Yes, Will's right. Comped Glock 17L with a 26 grip chop. Yes, nothing says
Bowie defense like a grip chop.
Yes, a grip chop. Yeah. I mean, that's basically a cane at that point.
Did it work? It worked.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why it won't let you. 20.
That's Will.
Okay. I'm out.
There's no sense in even talking to that man.
And they said I'm gay.